Right, well I've started to join the two halves of the body tub together now, and I'm not going to go through the whole process of lining up the sills and the installation of them. Plenty of other people have done that. MG Hamsale has gone into it in quite some detail, as has Christo S and other ones, but there are a couple of things that they didn't cover in their presentation, which I'll touch on here. Now, in their rebuild, they didn't replace the front A-pillar. I've replaced both of those, and I find that getting that back in the right position is critical to everything else. Now, before I pulled it apart and cut the old ones out, I took a measurement from there through to there, and whilst that's not totally even, the measurement was around a little bit over 16.5 inches, so I thought that would be a pretty good starting point for the placement of the pillar. Now, what I think is essential is that you get the car all levelled up, front to back and across, and then it's really essential that you get that door pillar pretty much level vertically on the two planes. So I've managed to get that pretty right. That's the plane on the front, which you can see the bubbles pretty well bang in between the lines, and the other side, the outside, is, I'll get a line on that, not quite as accurate, but it's a little bit close in on the bottom. That's not as vital as there is a little bit of adjustment on the door hinges. It's quite easy to move that door hinge out a tad to get that alignment correct, but if you haven't got this plane level, then the only way to get the door to swing on an even plane is to shim the hinges, or, well, you couldn't bend them because you've changed the gaps then, but you'd have to shim them, which probably be even more difficult to do than actually get the thing level. Before doing all that, I actually bolted the front body tub section down to the chassis, pretty much everywhere where it needed to be. It's basically an immovable object because of all the bolt holes. So, and that, together with the correct positioning of the A-pillar, is a good starting point to get the rest of it correct. Another aspect not covered by the other builders, because they haven't removed the A-pillar, is when you cut the old pillar out, you're more than likely, as I did, going to cut it through here somewhere, and thus remove the section that runs down on the inside of the door back to the pillar. So if you do that, you need to replace that. So what I've done is I took a little piece of manila folder and made a little template to make the part for that, and that would fit in like so. So from that little template, I've cut that out of a bit of 1.2mm zinc aluminum steel and just shaped it up in the vise with a pair of pliers and a hammer. And once that's welded in, we'll have quite a good curve around the door there. That'll get welded in across there and down there and across. So I haven't seen that done by anyone anywhere in the scheme of things on the videos, so I thought that might be a useful piece of information just to show you how I went about doing that. That particular A-pillar came from Kilmartin's in Victoria in Australia, as did the bottom sill and the shut face for the door pillar. Now I thoroughly recommend Kilmartin's product. It's just brilliantly made, everything fits, and if you're going to use some parts, I'd suggest you get them all from there, because they're all designed to fit together with one another. And I'm quite happy with the price, very happy with the service from Kilmartin's, and could only thoroughly recommend them. Now looking at the B pillar and the shut face, it looks to be sticking out a little bit down along that edge, and the reason for that is, I'll remove that, the dog leg that I purchased, which was sort of a red oxide in colour, when you look at the edge here, it comes down and then it gets narrower and narrower across to there, and when it's hard up against the outside edge of the rocker panel, you can see that there's a gap between there and that inner part of that rocker panel, which is holding the door shut face out quite a lot. So what I'm going to have to do there is I'm going to have to put a cut down in through there and modify that so that it sits up flush against the edge there. Now both sides are the same. Now I would imagine that if I had bought the new dog legs from Kilmartin, that I wouldn't be facing that issue, but you don't know these things at the time, and it can always be modified, but it takes a little bit of extra work. So I've just got all that inner sill and inner sill plate. I've just got that tack screwed together there at the moment. It's amazing how solid that is, even with a few tack screws. So with a spot weld every 50-70 mil apart, I can imagine that it's going to be quite firm. Yeah, just to give you an idea of what I'm looking at with the door swinging on the same plane, I've got the door fully open and the spirit level up against that back face of the door there, and you can see that the bubble is pretty much in the centre of the two marks. And we should have pretty much the same across the bottom of the door, as you can see there. So basically that door, without any real adjustment, is swinging nice and evenly on the plane. So I'm pretty happy with the way that is, and that's basically, there's been no real adjustment done on that door at all. So we're pretty happy with all of that. I've got a few repairs to do on that door. I've started, so I'll do a video on that later on. But yep, that's all coming along quite well. Like I said, those Kilmartin parts are really good. Likewise, with the rear pillar, you need to get that vertically level as well, which you should be able to see there. That V pillar's just sitting there at the moment, so it's not even clamped down or screwed down. I've got the marks there and a corresponding mark on the door there in the middle of that door latch. So when that all comes together, the latch and the door all line up, if you can see that, and the top corner is all pretty much spot on. There's a little bit of filler. It had lead in there previously, so that'll get sort of filled up a little bit in the painting process. Yeah, that's that little piece there that I've put in on the other side. I've melted a lot of lead out of there from the previous build, probably from the factory. I don't think it's going to need quite as much filler in there once I get it all lined up. There's still quite a lot up in that area there, but when I close the door up, I don't think we'll be needing all of that. I'll just give you a look at that. Yeah, you can see it's quite close there. Certainly going to need some back here, but there was a lot of lead in there. I'll show you the stuff that came out of it. No, I've thrown it away.